KMC administration, head coach Bill Engels, his assistant coaches, and all the student athletes would like to thank those in attendance. Many thanks to you for your support of high school athletics. We'd also like to extend a special salute to all of our alumni of KMC in the crowd tonight and fans of both schools. At this time, we request that you please stand and remove your hats as we together give reverence and honor to God and the country with our opening prayer and national anthem. To lead us in our prayer, I'd like to introduce Kapaun School Chaplain, Father Curtis Hecker.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Almighty God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, we thank you for this day. And we thank you for the gift of each of these young athletes that you brought here tonight, and the gift of our Catholic education. Lord, we ask you to bless these young athletes, to keep them safe from injury and harm, to allow them to play with the true spirit of sportsmanship as they return their gifts and talents back to you and give you honor and glory. And we ask all this as we pray in the words that our Lord has taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Our Lady of Mount Carroll, Father Kapaun, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem. To sing our national anthem tonight will be the KMC students, Sandy Reimers and Gianna Lee.
It is now time to introduce tonight's starting lineups. First up for the visitors, from Bishop Carroll. Please welcome the floor, senior number 3, Elaine Alex. First up for Kapaun Carmel, please welcome the floor, junior number 3, Sandy Sanders. Next for the Eagles, junior number 4, Lily Martin. And for the Crusaders, next up is senior number 12, Lizzie Rohr. Next for the visitors from Carroll, sophomore number 12, Avery McCrory. And for KMC, junior number 15, Lauren Ice. Next for Carroll, junior number 14, Leah Hankey. And for Kapaun, sophomore, number 33, Clara Hacker. Rounding out the starting lineup for Bishop Carroll's Golden Eagles, freshman, number 22, Brooke Stephen. And rounding out the starting lineup for Kapaun Carroll, freshman, number 41, Stella Fury.
Hello and welcome to Kapaun Mount Carmel, home of the Lady Crusaders. Tonight we will see Bishop Carroll face off against the Lady Crusaders, who come into tonight 2-3. Carroll, of course, coming in undefeated. My name is Gabriel Bryanbach, here with me.
And I'm Andrew Guyer. And welcome back, Gabe. I mean, going off to college last year, your first game back for Kapaun Mount Carmel. And one thing to note about tonight's game, KMC has experienced a lot of sick or injured players, especially one of their stars, McCoy Pfister, and she will be a key out for tonight. I mean, she can shoot, she can do everything with the ball. And so KMC will need to figure that out with their younger players. And so, what does Carroll possess?
I mean, Carroll possesses everything. I mean, they are the dominant force entering not only tonight, but they're a dominant force in Kansas basketball. Of course, state runners-up last year, and they come into this season already undefeated so far. And so we'll see what happens here. Kais to tip off for Kapaun, and she will win it as the freshman, Stella Fury, gets it to start things out for KMC, excuse me.
And tonight's lineup for KMC is Sadie Sanders, number 3 on your screen, leading at the point. Then we have Lizzie Romer with that shot. Good. And then Lauren Kais, number 15 on the wing. And then number 33, Clara Hawker, the sophomore. And the young freshman, Stella Fury, number 41.
And now getting over to Carroll on their first possession will be stoppage and play. And it looks like the first foul of the game going to be called. It's go against Kapaun. And it looks like it'll be on Sadie Sanders, number 3. It'll be her first personal foul, but starting lineup for Bishop Carroll here tonight is number 3 at the free throw line, Ellie McKillips. Number 4, Lily Martin. Number 12, Avery McCoy. Number 14, Leah Henke. And, of course, number 22, Brooke Stephen. And Brooke Stephen, a freshman in this veteran starting lineup. We'll see what she can do here for the Golden Eagles. Now Kapaun back on offense. Kais puts a shot up, and that is going to be good. So Kapaun out to an early 4-1 lead here.
And KMC right off that missed free throw by McKillips, getting down in transition and getting a big bucket.
And honestly, Andrew, I think that's going to be a big key for Kapaun tonight. I mean, as I said multiple times, Carroll has everything here in this matchup. They are a dominant force, and they're going to try to stick to their game plan. They're going to try to do what works best, and an open shot, they're going to go. No, now going to be saved by the freshman Brooke Stephen. Now McKillips with it, and now Carroll to reset. But as I was saying, it's going to be, Carroll's game if they want it to be. I mean, if they run their offense and they don't make sloppy plays, it's going to be them in the driving seat. However, Kapaun has the ability to play fast, just as you've seen so far in this game. And so if they keep that up, it's going to be a lot easier for them to gain some control.
You're exactly right, Gabe. And when I spoke to Coach Will Ingalls, he said Carroll's just trying to slow this game down and play at their own pace. And we've been seeing that. They've been grabbing the early rebounds and keeping that possession alive, getting out to the three-point land, and trying to make those threes fall. I mean, we haven't seen anything yet.
And now for the second time here tonight, McKillips already back at the free throw line, and so that's 2 quick fouls for Kapaun, both going against Sadie Sanders. So she has 2 quick ones, and so she'll have to watch herself here as now McKillips converts on both shots. It makes it a 3-4 game.
And that brings McKillips at 3 for 4 tonight from the free throw line.
And Andrew, you see here now, great press break here by Kapaun. Now another turnover, except now another steal. Wow, Sanders. Nice anticipation there, gets a steal and a basket.
And Sanders at the right moment, at the right time, getting that early steal and adding some points to the board. 6-3.
Now what I was going to say, Andrew, before that basket is Carroll coming out in a press, and that's going to be a big way for them to regain control here. Is Kapaun again pressing the tempo and just trying to go as fast as possible, trying to catch Carroll on their heels, as Sanders will lose this one out of bounds. Great defense there by Avery McCoy. But now Claire Hawker steps out of the game for Mason Powell. But, Andrew, you mentioned how Kapaun doing with a few injuries and how they're going to have to rely on their younger teammates. But it's a pretty young team altogether. I mean, they only really lost Sophia Jamil. Of course, Eloise Thorpe also graduating last year. But Sophia Jamil, a key piece for them, they've lost this year. But other than that, they have pretty much everyone they had last year, especially course number 12, Lizzie Romer, who's of course playing college ball next year, and she has been a key player and the main offensive focus for the Crusaders.
You're exactly right, and KMC just trying to build on that foundation that they've had from past years. And one thing tonight, they're going to have to utilize those younger players and just battling through those injuries and that sickness. And that's just a tough thing. Adversity comes, and we'll see how this team faces that.
So you see their great defense by Carroll, and that's going to be the key for them, as I've said multiple times. They set up their defense. They were very methodic, and they got their people in the places they wanted to be, and of course a tough shot from Romer. Now Kapaun also with some good defense. They're back on offense now. We'll see what they can do. As Sanders tries to get a screen, but great defense by Carroll, and they're pushing the Kapaun offense outside, and now Romer, nice drive, and she'll head to the line. So that's great, veteran leadership there by Romer. That's going to be the key for Kapaun when Carroll is doing all they can to push you out. I mean, if you go back and watch that last play, there's almost no one inside the arc, offense or defense. Carroll has just done a great job of pushing Kapaun outside, and honestly, it looks like Kapaun's offense is meant to operate from out there, so it makes it a lot easier to force difficult shots.
And you're exactly right, Gabe. Lizzie Romer hitting 6 3-pointers last game, or excuse me, 2 games ago against South, and that was a key part in the game. Being able to hit those big threes allowed KMC to have some breathing room, focus on their 3-point shooting.
And now a miscue, a couple of miscues, but now a foul going to be called, as that was Hannah Palmer, who initially lost it, put up a shot, lost it again, and put one more shot up. And that will give Lizzie Romer her first foul of the evening, and so I guess a little lesson in perseverance there from Palmer. However, she will miss her first free throw.
And Carroll, 50% from the line tonight. Not great early in the game. 8-3 thus far. KMC lead by 5. KMC just trying to keep their foot on the gas, trying to put the pressure on the state runner-ups.
And Andrew, some people might look at the scoreboard and think a 5-point lead early on isn't that big of a deal, but for Kapaun coming in as the underdog, now there's a miscue there by Hawker. So Carroll will have the ball again. A couple subs come in as looks like that's Ellie McKillips and Willie Martin re-entering the game in favor of Avery McCoy and Leah Hankey. But as I'm saying, when you come in as the underdog, being able to deliver that initial punch to the face, so to speak, is huge. And Kapaun has done it so far, so we'll see if they can stick with it, as now McKillips drives and blocked by Kais. But now rebound ends up in the hands of Martin, who can't convert. Now rebound goes to Powell, and here comes Kapaun once again.
And great rebound by Palace, trying to set up an opportunity for KMC on the other side. But Palace has been dealing with a sickness all week long, and we'll see if this is her version of Jordan's flu game.
And a great three there, great look, and Lizzie Romer converts. That opens up the game now, an 8-point lead for Kapaun Mount Carmel. Now freshman Brooke Steven hands it over to McKillips. And you see now again, now Carroll forcing the issue, and another miss. You see Andrew, initially you see Carroll really trying to be slow, set up their offense, but then it's that rash passing and that, pressing the issue that isn't working out for them. They really have to settle down and get back to what they do best, and that's a great steal by Stevens, the freshman, now up to Martin. And now Martin inside to McKillips, who nearly is fouled there, but brings it back out. Now another reset here, but now Stevens shoots it, and that's going to be rebounded by Palace, and now a jump ball going to be called here.
And you saw on the last KMC possession game, the sophomore Clara Hawker out of her hands, and that's not the first time that that's happened tonight. Maybe just the nerves are getting to her, as this is her first time starting all year long.
So now Kais and Stella Fury exit the game as Ella Rudy and Claire Hawker re-enter the game. And actually Rudy making her first appearance of the night, and she will pick up a quick foul off the bench. And Ella Rudy providing some height to the lineup. It could be huge, as you've seen Carroll really trying to press the issue interior and on the interior, I should say. And so having her in the paint will add some crucial defense for the Crusaders. And now here's Palmer. 0 for 2 now, 0 for 3 now, 1 for 4 from the stripe. And here's Carroll's press once again. And it looks like they're trying to do this after every made basket. However, they haven't had a single made field goal yet. Only doing this after the 4 free throws they've made. And now a toss for it, and now another jump ball. However, this time it was going to be in favor of Kapaun. As now Fury and Kais re-enter the game already after a very quick breather, and Hawker exits the game again, and now Romer getting her first breather tonight as well. And so we'll see what Kapaun does without Romer on the floor. Rudy with the top of the key, hands off to Sanders. And again, Carroll doing a great job of pushing KMC to the outside, and they just can't find a lane to dribble into. I mean, Fury's operating near the logo, and now a tussle on the ground, another jump ball. The third consecutive possession with one, and this again will head Carroll's direction.
And Carroll is able to exploit that freshman inexperience in Fury and force the steal there. And that's just tough as a freshman coming into a big game like this. The Holy War, 2 crosstown rivals meeting for the first time in this season, and that's a lot of pressure for her.
And now that's Avery McCoy from 3. Or no, excuse me, that's Brooke Stephen from 3. And now Stephen again, a steal, and she'll miss that layup. Now this is kicked out to Avery McCoy, who misses that 3. And now a tussle for it again, and this looks like, no! The ball's free, and now that's Hankey, and Hankey will be fouled.
And great job by Bishop Carroll keeping that possession alive. They kept getting those boards and getting it out to the perimeter. However, only 1 of 6 tonight from the perimeter. Not great in this early game.
And now just like that, Andrew, potential 6-point swing. As Hankey converts on the first one, and Carroll, with 1:20 left to go in the period, already in the bonus. That's the first quarter, so we'll have to see how they operate in the second quarter.
And if I was Coach Will Ingles, I would want to tell my team, stay focused. Stay focused on the goal tonight in beating this very experienced Carroll team. This would be a huge win for KMC, and it would reset their season back to 500 as they are coming to this contest 2-3 with big losses to Washburn Rural, 26-52 in that one last Friday.
And Hankey's three made free throws makes it a 1-point game. And now, speaking of experience, you have number 1, Leah Littlejohn on the court. The senior was a crucial factor in their run last year in the playoffs. So we'll see what she can do. Now this one, pass can be deflected, and it's going to be picked up by Hankey, who pushes the issue. It's up to Martin. Martin on the layup. That's good. And now Carroll with a 1-point lead after being down by 8 at one point.
And that just shows their experience and their ability to just surge at any point in the game, as Littlejohn gets a huge steal right there, creating another opportunity for her team.
And that's Martin again on the layup. So now timeout can be called by KMC. And so after being up by 8, now with 32 seconds left in the first quarter, KMC now down by 3. An 11-0 run for the Golden Eagles.
And Coach Will Ingles, like we said, trying to focus up his team, trying to focus on a goal, 1 play at a time, slow this game down. It's been very fast-paced. We've seen multiple steals back-to-back, and Bishop Carroll utilizing that transition play and getting those transition buckets. And so KMC just trying to work through that press that Carroll's been giving all night long, trying to create some opportunities from the perimeter. Carroll's been limiting any sort of perimeter shooting from KMC tonight.
And honestly, I know you say that, but it might be something that Kapaun has to lean into more heavily. I mean, the Carroll defense is meant to push them out, and they haven't had too much success trying to find those lanes to drive in on. So another miscue here, as that's off the hands of freshman Stella Fury. But as I was saying, I mean, when you're being pushed out, if you can find those open shots along the perimeter, especially when you have shooters like Lizzie Romer, that could be your best point of action on offense. And now this one going to go out of bounds. A rare miscue from Bishop Carroll.
And Hanky just trying to get it to the senior McKillips on that one as that one soars out of bounds.
And a near turnover now in the hands of Stella Fury. Now this one gonna get stolen again. Now up to Hanky, who is gonna convert there. Now 2 seconds left, and that will be the end of the quarter. And so now Carroll heads to the second quarter of action in the bonus, as well as having a 5-point lead.
And wow, how the tides turned. Like you said, Gabe, just KMC struggling to create anything as soon as Carroll put on that surge. They've just been able to hit bucket after bucket and get those turnovers. KMC seems to be very flustered, just trying to find the momentum.
Exactly right, and I think Engels might have tried to stop the action there, regroup with his girls towards the end of the first quarter, but he will definitely get that opportunity here. As just like not a complete meltdown, but a little bit of a meltdown there from KMC to end the first quarter of action, and that's something they're not going to be able to do if they want a chance in this game. Again, they're going up against a very experienced, very accomplished team in Bishop Carroll, and so you can't afford to have these miscues and to have these rash mistakes if you want to have a chance in this game. And we saw them have some early success. Of course, that initial punch in the face went up by 8. The 8-point lead is nothing to scoff at. But again, to have the sustained success in the game that you want, you have to do more than that. You have to be disciplined. You have to run your game. You can't force Carroll to allow you to play whatever offense they want you to run. You have to do what you have practiced and what your coach is telling you to do. And now for the first time here tonight, we'll see Avery Hamilton, number 25 for the Crusaders. And here's Sanders, who kicks out to Hamilton. Hamilton off the bench, three-pointer off the mark. Now loose ball, and now Carroll regains it, and now Martin, another basket. That'll give her 6 quick points.
And that's just another one of those transition buckets. They just keep adding up tonight. Carroll doing a great job of getting down the court and creating opportunities for Martin, for Hinkie to score.
And now a handoff is completed there to Sanders. I mean, you see this. I mean, you can see it now. There is almost nobody inside the arc except for some help defense. It's incredible how well Carroll is pushing Kapaun. Now this is a nice lane found by Sanders for the layup. And when you can find, now that's the one thing to say. When Carroll is focusing so much on pushing out, if you can find a lane, you're almost always going to get an open look to the basket. But the lanes just haven't been there for Kapaun so far.
A great job by Sanders finding that open lane from the help from her teammates.
And now Carroll slowing things down here. And now a deep 3 made by Hanky.
That's just the second made 3 of the night. Big perimeter shooting from Carroll.
And the largest lead of the night for Carroll pushes up to 8. Now a deep 3 from Romer off the mark, rebounded by Martin. Martin pushing the issue, gets it up to Hanky. Hanky passes to Stevens. Stevens blocked, but now Martin blocked again. Wow, great defensive effort there by the Crusaders. Romer with the initial block on Stevens, and Kais blocking Martin off the rebound. And now we'll see some personnel changes as Jesse Kemp and Mason Powell enter the game for KMC. And a little John re-enters the game for Carroll, along with McKillips, it looks like. Or no, excuse me, not McKillips. Martin, Bria Martin.
Wide open shot.
Brooks, Steven, that's off the mark, rebounded by Palace.
And the opportunities for Carroll have been there from the three-point perimeter. They've shot 8 three-pointers tonight, and only 2 of them have fallen. Not great from the perimeter.
And now Romer, again, you see it. It's just Wow, a travel call. I think a lot of people thought that was going to be a foul, but it's a travel call against Warren Keiss. But, I mean, if you're Coach Engel, you've got to find a way to break that exceptional perimeter defense by Carroll. You know, that may come off some screens, and they're doing a great job with the handoffs, but we'll have to see if they can come up to something, force something to solve that, excuse me. And so it'll be Carroll ball. And it's Steven inbound, and this ends up out of bounds once again. And this will be Caven basketball as that's off the hands of Bria Martin.
KMC just trying to put something together, down by 8 points. Now 5 minutes, 11 seconds left in the second quarter. I mean, that's plenty of time. You have the second half left on top of that, but KMC just trying to mount some sort of run, not trying to let this lead get too large.
I think you're right there, Andrew, and it is important to remember they play 4 quarters for a reason. Just because you might have had some woes here early in the game doesn't mean you can't come back. And a wild shot there from Kempf. But that's just to say, you know, right now you shouldn't be trying to mount a comeback. You're trying to get comfortable. You're trying to find a rhythm. And like you said, trying to string some baskets together. Great 3 there from Romer. But just overall trying to find a way to get comfortable in your offense and play good defense, and that's a wide open lane that ends up in a basket for Hankey.
And that was just a miscue on defense from KMC. They cannot allow those easy buckets when they're down.
And some contact there as Fury's shot off the mark, and now Martin's shot going to be good for the mid-range. That extends Carroll lead now to 9 points. Now Romer facing a press is going to turn it over to Hankey. Hankey slows things down, and this one going to be off the mark, but gathered there by McCoy. And McCoy over to McKill, who knocks down the 2-point shot. Just inside the arc, and now again extend the lead now at double digits. The first of the night for either team.
And one thing there, McKillop's wide open. Excellent job by the Eagles on creating that space, making those KMC defenders go in a different direction or get off the rim. And we've seen that all night long as Carroll's just been attempting those 3-pointers, trying to create something from the perimeter, and they've been doing a great job of giving their players opportunities.
And so a chance here again for Ingles to try and regroup, and Carroll couldn't be happier right now. And, you know, Taylor Dugan, the head coach for Carroll, hasn't even used a single timeout. I mean, she's just let her girls play, and they've rewarded her with absolutely phenomenal products on the court.
And it looks like, Dave, those early struggles in this game have been left behind for this team as they are finding their steps, and they are running right now away from KMC. We'll see if KMC coming out of this timeout can just put something together, put some baskets, string those together, and shorten this lead.
And exactly right. And again, we see this press. And Cape has actually seen some success against it, but that's going to be a turnover as McCoy going to kick it over to Hankey. And no, transition back to not going to happen, but now a putback, no good either. And now a fight for the ball, and this will be a jump ball. As Abigail Perjury, number 5, getting into the action early. It will remain under the Carroll basket. And McCoy unable to get the inbound basket. Now, Claire Hawker going to pick up the ball, and that will be a travel. Great defense again there by Abigail Pedruzzi.
And another struggle by a sophomore, just trying to find her footing tonight. She's had a couple miscues and a couple turnovers that have resulted in the other direction. Not what you want to see from a sophomore that you're hopefully trying to build a team on next year.
And stoppage and play here. I don't know what that was. Something shiny picked up by the ref. And so again, Kapaun just trying to regain control, even over themselves. And that's not going to happen here. Is Palmer going to be blocked by the freshman Stella Fury? It's a great job to get back on defense. And now Fury will exit the game. And additionally, Carroll bringing in McKillips.
And Gabe, that last possession and that huge block by Fury just shows you how KMC is going to need to work together in order to get this win. There might have been a big turnover right there, but Fury going down the court and getting a huge block, setting the team up for another possession.
And Andrew, I gotta admit, I'm seeing a lot of great things on the defensive end. It's just the offense that has been shut down by Carroll here in the second quarter especially. I mean, you go from scoring, 11, 13 points in the first quarter, now only scoring a mere, 4 to 6, or 4 to 5 here in the second.
Yeah, you're right, Gabe. We've seen a large lull in offensive production right here. And we'll see if Sanders' shot, could get that back.
And just unable to convert. Now, and one opportunity for Ella Rudy. That gives her first points of the night. And Andrew, also, you look at the point distribution here. Romer with 10, and then the next leading scorer being Sadie Sanders with 4 points. You're talking about over half the points coming from Lizzie Romer. And it's just something that, isn't horrible, but isn't something you're really hoping for in a game like this.
You're right, Gabe, and that just shows her excellent leadership that she possesses and just the foundation that she provides for this team. And they struggle when she is not in the lineup. And so they are very blessed to have her on the offense.
Now Rudy goes in, and that's going to be off the mark. Now rebounded by Hawker. Hawker puts up a shot. That's good. And so just like that, a quick 5-point swing, and now it's a 6-point game. And there's that run you were talking about, Andrew. At least the start of one. And KMC is going to be stopping the action. This looks like it'll be the first timeout on behalf of Carroll. And so is hoping that Kapaun can keep this going as they're seeing some, again, defensively they've been great. Defensively they've been forcing some tough shots. Carroll takes some tough shots. And defensively they've gotten the turnovers. They've done everything great on defense. Offensively they had great success early on. Haven't had much since, but now with this 5-point run, they could find some success.
Yeah, and they've done a great job of getting the rebounds. Of getting the rebounds and just creating those second chance opportunities. Like we said earlier, they're just able to keep those possessions alive much longer and get it out of the hands of the Carroll offense.
And that's a good point, Andrew. Just honestly, I mean, we've talked about how they've operated the best when going quickly. And here you see again, pushing the issue. That's Clara Hawker off the pass from Mason Palace, and she's going to be off the mark from a 3-point shot. But, controlling the tempo as they did early on in this game, really, as we saw, had an impact on how well Carroll operated on offense. And their offense is what really sets them apart from other teams in the state. And so anytime you can control the tempo is going to lead to you having at least some success, if not substantial success in the game.
Exactly right, Gabe, and that is what Coach Will Ingles told me. He said he wants to slow this team down and get them out of their rhythm. They're a great team and they are focused and working on those things that they practice in their rhythm. And so forcing them out of their rhythm, forcing them on a run
And so now that bumps the lead back up to 8, and here's Carroll again with the press. And when it's run right, the Kapaun press break has been fruitful. After a near turnover there, KMC gets it across half court. And now we'll see him slow down a little bit. Romer calling the shots. Now here's some screens. And Sanders nearly loses it, gets it over to Rudy. Rudy over to Romer in the corner for 3. That's no good. And now Hankey gets over to Martin. Martin's shot gonna be no good. Now kicked out to McCoy. McCoy over to McKillops. McKillops, no good. Into the hands of Sanders for the rebound, and that looked like a double dribble. Indeed it is. And it's now with 47 seconds remaining in the first half of action. Carroll will have the ball, leading by 8. And so Hankey inbound gets it over to the freshman Brooks Stevens.
And this Carroll offense just trying to slow it down and keep things together, not allow any other points in the second quarter. Just keep KMC at 21 points.
And now
We'll see
Hankey.
if KMC reacts in any way, or they just let this play out.
And you see Hankey sizing up the defense here, of course, holding it for the last shot as you hinted at there. Now over to Steven, over to Hankey again. Hankey over to McCoy. McCoy and Carroll gonna lose it here. And now that'll end the first half of action as Kapaun heads to the locker room. Not in the best spot, but not in a horrible spot. You know, you come in as the underdog, keeping it within 10 is not a triumph, but is certainly somewhere it's not horrible to be at. Especially you've had early success, you had success on offense. Going into the locker room with some semblance of what you need to do in the second is crucial, and it's going to be great for KMC. The second half. And if you're Carroll, you're doing everything right. You just got to keep going with what you got, and you guys keep doing what works. And so we'll step aside now for the KMC Pommies and join you back for the second half of action. Hello, welcome back to the second half of action in the KMC versus Bishop Carroll matchup here. Again, with you, Gabriel Bryanbach.
And I'm Andrew Guyer.
And wow, already a contact on the floor as both McCoy and Romer lose their footing. And a wild possession will end in a basket for KMC, as that's Oren Keiss there to get things kicked off here in the second half of action. Now, a full-court pass to Martin to respond. Number 4 gets her first basket of the second half, and she's up to 10 points now on the evening.
And both teams coming out of the halftime break firing on all cylinders and getting those big transition buckets like that one right there.
And basket's coming fast here to start things off. And that pass somehow ends up in the hands of Keiss, and now a foul going to be called against William Martin, as that will be Martin's second of the night. And Mason Palace enters the game for Lizzie Romer. And now KMC settling down. That's still Fury top of the key, trying to set up the offense. Now Palace kicks it over to Hawker. Hawker over to Fury. And so you see Kapaun here, they're moving a lot more off the ball, and that's allowing for the defense not to push them out quite as well. I mean, we saw in the first half, Carroll really making it a priority and really doing a great job of pushing KMC beyond the arc. There were multiple times where if you looked at KMC on offense, both sides, neither of them were inside the perimeter. No one was inside the arc, and so Kapaun has done a great job of moving off the ball, and that has allowed for the offense to not only develop, it's opened up more passing lanes and more driving lanes for them as well.
Yeah, and they're just trying to keep Carroll on their toes and force them to hurry up their offense and their defense, as a great inbound by the Eagles right there.
Now a deep three from Hankey, and this one rebounded by Martin. Martin back to Hankey. Hankey drives. This is going to be good on the little floater. So that extends the Carroll lead to 12, their biggest of the contest.
And down by double digits, KMC just trying to get something going, trying to add some points to the board as Hawker is double teamed, as that will be a jump ball.
And it looks like Hawker a little shaken up there. And Hawker doing with numerous injuries already in her young career. And it looks like she's going to be okay. As Romer checks back in, excuse me.
Rudy checking in for Hawker on that one. Just trying to reset this team, getting some taller players in the paint.
It's not Hankey over to McCoy. McCoy over to Martin. Martin driving in. Martin is just playing with purpose here tonight. You see with every dribble, with every movement on defense, she is just playing very purposefully, playing with a lot of heart out there, and you can really see it. And it's showing on the stat sheet so far, of course, 10 points to her name so far, as we mentioned earlier.
And Gabe, I think that attests to how much this game means to both sides, the Holy War. This is a lot more than just a game. It's for bragging rights throughout the city.
And so now Romer, another basket. That gives her 12. Only 2 behind Carroll's leading scorer being Leah Hankey. Now Hankey drives, loses it. That's gathered by Keiss. Keiss gets it over to Fury. And now KMC trying to cut the lead back to single digits. Fury loses it. Gets it back now in the corner. That's out of bounds. Off the hands of McKillips. And so now Fury will head to the bench as Sanders checks in. And along with that, it looks like Brea Martin and Leah Littlejohn check in for Bishop Carroll. Romer loses it. Gathers in, tries to set up the offense once again. Rudy, top of the key, gets over to Sanders. Sanders looks to drive but can't. Now in trouble. Loses it on the floor, and that's going to be grabbed additionally by Brea Martin. So it'll be another jump ball And the possession arrow switches once again. This time going to be in the favor of Kapaun. So it'll be inbounded by Sanders.
And that possession right there showed how proficient this Bishop Carroll defense has been, not letting anything go by. KMC just trying to find some sort of space to work with.
And now Romer shot to mark. Rudy tries to put one up. That's blocked by Littlejohn. And now it'll be out of bounds as Hankey tries to gather it there, but it looks like her foot's going to be called out. So again, Kapaun with a third opportunity here on this possession. Let's see if they can make something happen. Now Kais kicks over to Romer. Romer, again, just trying to reset things. And you see it again here. Carroll looks a lot more comfortable on defense now, and again, they're just pushing KMC so far beyond the arc. It forces tough shots like that from Romer. Now one's going to be off the mark. And another jump ball, this time going to go Carroll's direction.
And Gabe, with that last three-pointer by Lizzie Romer, that brings KMC 2 for 9 from the perimeter tonight. Not great for them. And you know, when Lizzie Romer is off, the entire team seems to struggle. She is the backbone of this team, the backbone of this offense. And she leads KMC to victory, or if she's not on, they struggle.
And this one going to be lost scattered by Littlejohn. And, you know, to your point there, Andrew, I think KMC they haven't been pushing the issue with the three-point ball as much. And, I mean, I think they have tried to do what most teams emphasize on offense. They're trying to score inside out. They're really trying to get the interior game going with some layups, driving as much as possible, and looking for those inside shots. But those just haven't been there. And so they've been forced to just go straight to shooting from the perimeter, and it just hasn't worked. They're trying to go, or they're being forced, to go outside in rather than inside out, and I think that's really shown on the scoreboard. Now, they've had some success. You can't knock the 25 points they have, but you've got to be able to find those shots inside, and Rudy looks for one there and isn't able to convert. And now facing a 2-on-1 situation, Steven is going to be blocked, it looked like, by Romer, and now some collisions under the basket. It's still going to be real Crusader basketball. Looks like no foul going to be called.
And that is never good when a player is limping, especially when it's Lily Martin. She's been a key player tonight. She's been, like you said, Gabe, showing great heart for the Eagles.
And so Carroll again coming out in the press. And now Kapaun looked for a second like they were going to break it there. But now Molly Algie intercepted now again from mid-range. That's Steven. And Steven's shot can be off the mark. But again, more collisions under the basket and another jump ball. I tell you what, Andrew, I really wish I would have been keeping tally how many jump balls we're at. I mean, it has to be 8 or even 10 maybe.
Yeah, and these two teams, like we said, it's the holy war. They're fighting for that ball, not letting any possession go wasted. And so every single ball that has the chance of being touched will be in contention.
Exactly right. Now Steven finds a mid-range shooter in McCoy, who knocks that down. And, you know, I mentioned earlier how Kapaun has not been able to get the interior shots they've wanted. And, wow, a beautiful defensive interception there from McCoy. And now another steal, this time by Kapaun. Now Kapaun going their way with it. But as I've said, when you look at Carroll, you know, on the other hand, you look at Carroll's offense, they have been shooting, firing on all cylinders, so to speak. They've been able to drive, they've been able to get inside shots, they've been able to score from the mid-range, and they've been able to knock down a couple threes. And there's nothing they can't do on offense here tonight, and that's what I feel like you can see. That's the biggest contrast you can see from these two sides. And this three off the mark from Brea Martin. And now it's going to be falling on, and looks like I guess it looks like it'll be a jump ball being favored Cape, and it looks, I could be wrong there, but we'll see.
And that is just another time that these two teams have gotten on the ground and have been fighting for that ball. Like we said, not letting any ball go untouched.
And so Cape with a chance to regroup here. Carroll calling timeout. Still down by 10. And again, defensively, a lot of things are looking good. There's still some, Carroll has found success, don't get me wrong. They're nearing 40 points. But defensively, Cape has been doing better than a lot of people expected in this game. Offensively, again, they just have not been able to get comfortable. They've had some short runs, and they found some success, but it haven't found that lasting, shot creating and lasting success on offense that they've hoped for and that they need right now, late in this game. And it looks like it actually be Carroll ball.
And like you said, Gabe, KMC doing a great job of holding Carroll to only 37 points. And Carroll, they've done a great job of generating buckets as they've had over 55 points in their last 4 contests, blowing out teams.
And now Willie Martin re-enters the game and makes it known that she does so with a 3 right off the bench. And now Romer loses it. And now Hankey in transition. Hankey, wild shot, going to be called for a foul. And so she will head to the line. Already with 14 on the night.
And turnovers have been plaguing this KMC offense. They cannot escape it. Once they feel like they're in a groove, finding their momentum, a turnover finds their way, and they just lose that ball.
And so now, looks like Maddie Spears enters the game, and Lauren Kais does as well as Ella Rudy and Wizzy Romer head to the bench. And now Molly Algie brings it up for Capon after the missed free throw from Hankey. Now a deep 3 from Spears, going to be off the mark, and here comes Carroll once again. Hankey leading the charge. And you see Hankey, I think she was looking for someone in that corner, but no one was there. And you see a new face on the court for Carroll. That's number 30, Megan Simon. And Carroll really slowing it down here. They realize they're in the driver's seat. They have a substantial lead. There's no reason to press the issue. Now another made shot here from Hankey. She is up to 17 points now on the evening.
Yeah, and Carroll just trying to fall into their rhythm. And that is what Coach Will Ingalls has been trying to get them out of. And when Bishop Carroll is in their rhythm, they are nearly unstoppable. Like we said earlier in the broadcast, state runner-up last year. They are a powerful team. And when they hit their stride, they can score.
And so that foul going to be team foul number 2 for Carroll. As now Lauren Kais, not someone you typically see is taking too many threes. She tries her luck there and is going to be unsuccessful. As now back over to Hankey. And really, offensively, Carroll has been pretty diverse, but going deeper into this game, it's been almost all Hankey. As Brea Martin exits the game. And now, so does Palace as Romer re-enters. And now Rudy unable to get it over to Kais. Now a big collision. And now Rudy going to pick up another foul. Your second.
And Rudy a bit flustered on that one, wishing that she could have had that one back. KMC just trying to stay disciplined on in this quarter as it draws to an end, but still in the second half, just trying to stay disciplined, staying out of foul trouble.
And now this will be a foul position of the third quarter as Hankey drives, blocked by Rudy. And now that will be the end of the quarter. So a defensive statement there from the Lady Crusaders. And they'll head into the final quarter of action down by 16. Not exactly where you want to be here in your rival game, but a lot of people thought it'd be worse coming into this game. I mean, there's few games that Carroll is going to have this year that they aren't heavily favored. And so Kapaun has looked good. The scoreboard might not show us, but they've looked good, and they've played a competitive game out there. I mean, of course, they've had their miscues, they've had their mistakes, but there's a lot to be happy about. There's a lot to look forward to from this KMC team, and the game's not over, of course. But to be honest with you, Andrew, I mean, it's not looking great, and they know that. And so what I feel like a lot of teams do when you're in the situation where you're playing an excellent team here in Bishop Carroll, and you're gonna play out. You're gonna play it out. You're gonna try your best to try to come away with the win. But at the end of the day, this is an opportunity for you to run your offense, run what you are practicing against arguably the best team in the state. And so you get to see what works, what doesn't work against an elite team, and you get to take that back into practice the next week and the weeks following that. It's still early on in the season, and there's a lot to look forward to if you're KMC.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Gabe. This is still a very new season, 6 games in, and KMC, they're still trying to work out those kinks. They're a very young team, like we said. The only senior being Lizzie Romer. And they're just trying to find their rhythm tonight and just trying to stop a powerhouse of a team in Bishop Carroll.
And so now, shot going to be no good by William Martin. And it will be KMC basketball. And William Martin looking like she's hobbling back to the court. And it'll be Carroll ball again. Brooke Stevens to bring it up. I mean, speaking of Brooke Stevens, I mean, a freshman coming to this game, she had a little miscue there. But I just want to give her some credit. She hasn't fouled yet in the contest. She's played great defense, very disciplined out there. And, you talk about some of the inexperience other freshmen have shown on both sides. And she is definitely the exception. She's been great, very calm and collected. And it's very impressive to see that from a freshman, especially in a game like this. Now Hawker going to be denied at the rim, but she will be fouled. She'll head to the line for 2 shots. And another thing to talk about here, Andrew, is the fact that Kapaun, as we said earlier, is a very, very young team. I mean, a lot of these girls, they have this year and then 2 more after it. And so it's going to be exciting to see what they can do, not only this year, but in the years to come, with a lot of talent on the roster.
Yeah, they have a great foundation and a lot to build upon in the upcoming years. And when I spoke with Coach Will Ingles earlier in the week, he said that when this team faces adversity, he has confidence in his players. He knows and he trusts them to excel and perform at the highest level. He knows that they've been working on things in practice, and he expects them to execute that while also putting that trust in them.
And this is another basket here. They extend their lead once again. And here comes Kapaun. So Romer, no good from 3. Now Rudy with the rebound. Rudy spins, gets an open shot, makes it.
And that is the first basket of the fourth quarter for KMC. Only 8 points since the beginning of the second half.
And
not great.
And Carroll there with a quick response. That's McCoy there. And now Hawker will get the jump ball. Now some new faces for Bishop Carroll as Willie Martin re-enters the game. So does Leia Littlejohn. And now Hannah Palmer re-entering the game after a prolonged exit. And now nice look for Palmer, who's going to be no good there off the high backboard. And now Stella Fury tries to get it over to Kais, but she loses it, and this will stay at Capen's end of the floor. And now Romer drives the baseline, and that's going to be good. It gives Romer 14 on the evening.
And great bucket by Romer, just trying to set anything up, trying to get KMC back into this game. It's not over till it's over, Gabe.
Exactly right. Now Romer with another steal. Trying to split two defenders, and wow, brings Willie Martin down to the floor. And it'll be yet another jump ball. However, it'll be a timeout from KMC first. But you see a little bit of frustration there from Romer, but it's more than that, it's just a lot of heart out there. You know, of course, it's your senior year. She really wants to win this game, probably more than anyone out on the court.
Yeah, you're right, and she just wants to will her team back into this. This Holy War, these two games, this game and then later in the season, means so much to these seniors and to these players. A win right here would be a huge accomplishment for this team, and I know it's probably not going to happen as Carroll up by 17 points, but Romer just trying to get something out of her players, trying to motivate her teammates and bring them to their highest level. When I spoke to her earlier in the season, she just said she wanted to bring the best out of those younger girls, out of those less experienced players, and show them what type of team she's looking for and what the future of girls basketball at KMC brings.
Exactly right. Now we'll get back into the action here. 5:21 remaining in the game. It will be KMC ball. And ball gets inside to Romer. Now back to Kais. Kais looks inside, but again, here's Romer. But it's just every possession is Fury going to be no good. But I mean, it's incredible how consistently dominant Carroll has been on defense here tonight. It shows you, I mean, it just shows you why they are considered so much of a force, like such a force in Kansas basketball. And that'll actually be a little miscue there from Carroll. And we'll get a Cape in another possession here.
And like you were saying, Gabe, with that last possession, KMC has only hit 2 3-pointers in the entire contest. And if you contrast that to last home game, Lizzie Romer hitting 6 3-pointers. And that's a big difference. Just shows, like you said, how dominant this Golden Eagles defense is. Just stopping a high-powered KMC 3-pointing team.
And now Fury gets it over to Palace. And wow, I mean, I know I keep mentioning it, but it's just so incredible to watch. I mean, it's almost like watching art in motion. As you see, Rudy really begging for the ball inside. But just the length that Carroll possesses is it's just impossible to get it there. Carroll moves just so well off the ball and on the ball. It's phenomenal.
another physical play by both teams as KMC will get that possession back. And like we said, just trying to create anything on offense. Just trying to shorten this Carroll lead. As KMC 2-3 going in this competition, they're just trying to reset back to 500, as that will likely not happen, but they'll take this game and work from there.
And now Rudy, looks like it actually be called a jump ball. That would give Carroll back the ball, and Rudy probably isn't happy with that one as she ripped it away and initially had a basket, but instead Carroll will have possession. And now Carroll pretty easily able to get past the press. And timeout can be called here. Initially looked like a foul, but it'll actually be a timeout on behalf of Carroll. And so again, Carroll in the driver's seat, up by 17 points here with a few minutes left to go in the contest.
And Gabe, one thing I would like to point out about this game, both teams showed up. The students have been rowdy tonight, providing that extra element to the game. And when I spoke with Coach Will Ingalls, he said he looked forward to seeing all those students show up to the girls' games. And after seeing all the football turnout, KMC ranked very high in the national student section rankings. I mean, they just show that this school is very passionate about sports, and they really want their teams to win.
And you're exactly right there. I mean, people a lot of times underestimate the crowds in smaller contests like this. I mean, people recognize the great college basketball stadiums or the great pro sports stadiums, but when you're playing high school level in a small venue like this, even 100 people can make a big difference. I mean, you hear them in the crowd. I mean, it makes a huge difference in how the game is played and how well the opposing team is able to operate.
Yeah, that can definitely get in your head and provide an extra element of that pressure. As big block by the sophomore Mason Palace.
And it will remain Carroll ball. And Pedruzzi gets it over to Steven. Steven drives. Mid-range shot, gonna bounce out. And Palace with the rebound, she'll be fouled.
And one of the rare fouls by the Golden Eagles. They have been very disciplined tonight, not forcing anything, trying to keep their hands to themselves almost. And that has proved very important to their success.
Now Fury gets it over to Romer, back to Fury as they're facing a press. And Cape doing a great job. Very methodical passing there to break the press. They do so, get across half court. And now Fury trying to set things up. But again, Carroll just locking up passing lanes and pushing Capen back. But now Hawker with an open look. Let's see if she can convert, and she can. Cuts the lead to 14. And now a steal from Romer. And Romer going to be missing that one. And Fury gets it, resets the offense. Now back with Romer. Romer from three. That is good. That is good.
Big back-to-back three-pointers by Hawker and Romer there, getting their team set, lighting a fire underneath their teammates, hopefully trying to mount back a comeback. I know it's a little late, but KMC, excellent job late in the game.
If they're going to do that, they'll have to overcome the 11-point deficit they face now with just over 2 minutes left to play in the game.
And with that boost of momentum, KMC just trying to create something out of that timeout. Down by 11. Anything can happen in 2 minutes and 26 seconds. So we'll see what Coach Will Ingalls has drawn up for the Crusaders.
And we'll see here that Kapaun coming out of press. As now Hankey with it, tries to drive baseline, but it looks like she steps out of bounds. Kapaun catches a break here. And just like that, Kapaun with an opportunity to cut it to single digits.
And every possession here is pivotal to the success of Kapaun. They need to let those buckets fly on these final possessions.
And honestly, Andrew, if Kapaun's going to come back, it's going to be because of one person. That's Lizzie Romer. Now Powis drives. She is blocked. And that's not what you want if you're KMC. Now Carroll pushing the other way. Kapaun doing a good job getting back on defense. But now Hankey with it. But really, the outcome of this game is going to rely on these two players. I mean, one defending, one with the ball right now. Hankey passes it over to Steven. And Steven to McCoy. McCoy, you know, is usually a bigger playmaker. Hasn't been too productive here, only with 5 points. Now a great steal by Hawker. Hawker gets over Rudy. Rudy over to Fury. It's now a minute 30 left to go in the game. And we'll see what happens. It's in Romer's hands. Now Romer thinks about the three, but can't get it off. Now Fury over to Hawker. Hawker for three. That is no good. And into the hands of McCoy. McCoy. And McCoy gets it to McKillips, who's going to be fouled on her shot, and that's going to be Romer's third personal.
And Gabe, this will be the 14th shot from the free throw line for the Eagles tonight, as they have been able to hit those buckets, as they have got 9 of 14 thus far, and that's provided a lot of their points. Just using that free throw line as a great opportunity.
Wow. Our loose ball and foul. I was going to say there, Andrew, Kapaun catching a very lucky break as McKillis misses both her free throws. But now a foul off the rebound will give Carroll the ball under their own basket. And it's now Carroll with an opportunity to extend their lead, and this shot going to be no good. Now under a minute left to go in the game. And if you're Carroll here, this is exactly what you want to do. You just want to slow it down. There's no reason to rush things. Another foul.
And the question is, Gabe, when does KMC start to consider it a foul? I know they're down by 4 possessions, but that has to be a factor in tonight's game.
Well, it's going to be tough because, I mean, they only have 2 fouls against, so they'll have to foul twice to even get to that point. And now, wow, a great rebound by McCoy over to Hankey. Hankey loses it. That's Lizzie Romer, and she's able to get the transition basket. Now, but the clock keeps rolling here, Andrew. That cuts it to just 9. But that's probably going to be the wraps on this game.
Yeah, and Bishop Carroll not letting anything happen with that ball, trying to keep it in their hands and wind that clock down, keeping it very relaxed on the court.
And that'll be it, as Carroll will come away with the win, 48-39. So the first half of the Holy War will conclude with Carroll getting the first W. And honestly, I mean, a lot of people expected a lot worse from this matchup. So there's a lot to be happy about if you're KMC. If you're Carroll, it's a great showing of dominance. There's not a whole lot to be mad about. They played a phenomenal game. We're firing on all cylinders on both sides of the ball. And so overall, great contest. Couldn't have asked for more from the first game of the night. And so with that, we'll step aside for about 10 minutes and bring you the boys' game after that.
Thank you.
KMC administration, head coach Steve Eck. His assistant coaches and all the student athletes would like to thank those in attendance. Many thanks going out to you for supporting high school athletics. We'd like to also extend a special salute to all the alumni of KMC in the house tonight and fans of both sides. This evening's game is sanctioned by the Kansas State High School Activities Association in accordance with Acacia Rule 52. We encourage your enthusiastic support and encouragement for the student athletes of both teams. I will remind everyone of the rules of good sportsmanship toward the athletes, cheerleaders, coaches, officials, and with one another. We thank you for your cooperation. And now, we ask you please to stand and remove your hats as we together give reverence and honor to God and the country with our opening prayer and national anthem. To lead us in our prayer is Kapaun School Chapel, Father Curtis Hacker.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Almighty God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, we give you thanks for the gift of this day, for the gift of Catholic education, and for the gift of each of these young athletes that you brought here to compete tonight. Lord, we ask you to bless them, to pour out your Holy Spirit upon them, that what they do tonight can truly be for your honor and glory, to draw each of them closer to you as they use and steward the gifts and talents that you have blessed them with. And we ask all of this as we pray in the words that our Lord has taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Our Lady of Mount Carmel, Father Kapaun, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Please remain standing for the national anthem, sung by KMC students, Sandra Reimers and Gianna Lee.
It is time to introduce tonight's starting lineups. First up for the visitors, from Bishop Carroll, please welcome to the floor, 6'4", junior for number 4, John Hauserman. First up for KMC, please welcome to the floor, a 6'4" senior guard, number 4, Will Kapaun. Next up for the visitors, a 6-foot senior guard, number 11, Reese Peterson. And for Kapaun, a 6'5", junior forward, number 5, Rocco Keller. Next for the Eagles, a 6'4", junior forward, number 12, Braxton Martin. And next for Kapaun, Carmel, 6'3", junior girl number 21, Carmel Johnson. Next for Carroll, 6'4", senior, forward number 14, Mikey Brand. And for KMC, 6'5", senior forward number 22, Tegan Charles. Rounding out the starting lineup for Bishop Carroll, a 5'11" sophomore guard, number 21, Landon Stevens. And rounding out the starting lineup for Kapaun Carmel, 6'3", junior guard, number 25, Brooks Power. Steve Beck is your head coach for KMC, Carmel your head coach for Bishop Carroll.
Hello and welcome to the Holy War, the first half of it anyway here at Kapaun Carmel, where the Cape Crusaders will face off against the Bishop Carroll Golden Eagles. And now Kapaun win the opening tip-off. I'm Gabriel Breinbach.
And I'm Andrew Greer. And Gabe, this KMC offense is led by Corbin Johnson, number 21 on your screen. Will Thingvall, number 4, as he hits a big three-pointer to set this team off right. Brooks Powers, number 25 on the wing. And in the paint, Rocco Keller, number 5, the sophomore. And rounding the team off, number 22, Tegan Charles, the senior.
And just like that, Coach said, Will Thingvall starting things off for Kapaun now for the first time on offense, the Bishop Carroll Golden Eagles. With the ball right now, number 11, Reese Peterson. Now with the ball, number 14, Mikey Brand. That gets flashed over to number 21, Landon Stevens on the ground. That's number 4, John Hauserman. And then rounding out the lineup is, of course, number 12, Braxton Martin. So our first jump ball will be in favor of Carroll. They'll have it under their own basket. Down by 3 already here in the very early game. Let's see if they can get something out of the first offensive possession. Hauserman from the corner, that's no good. Rebounded by Johnson. Johnson pushing up the court, gets to the Thingvall. Thingvall kicks it over to Brooks Powers. Gets it into Keller. Rocco Keller tries to get it back in. Loose ball now in the hands of Carroll. And so you see Kapaun trying to slow things down there. And, you know, Andrew, Kapaun coming in as the favorite. They're in the driver's seat right now. Maintaining the tempo they want to play at is going to be key to them getting a win here tonight.
So, Gabe, Coach Eck told me earlier in the season, one thing that they did amazingly well was that defense. They used the defense to transition well into offense, and we're going to see a lot of that by KMC tonight. They're going to try to force Bishop Carroll to rush on shots, rush on possessions, and then they're going to get that ball back and give it to their playmakers, Corbin Johnson and Will Thingvall, and just let them play.
And wow, Will Thingvall getting up there, knocking the backboard. It's still a missed shot regardless. Now Johnson on the other end kicks over to Thingvall. Will Thingvall pump fake, shoots the 3 ball. That is good.
And Thingvall already 2 for 2 tonight. Excellent from the 3-point land.
Anyway, now back to action. Here's Tegan Charles, tries to dunk it, that's going to be no good. And Charles getting a little cocky here in the early window.
And that's Charles' second miss already from the paint. Not great from a star senior.
And so now here's Mikey Brand over to Landon Stevens, who's able to knock that down. Just like that, 3-point game yet again. Now, again, Will Thingvall for 3. A quick response, and the senior already with 9 points on the evening. He comes into this game averaging 16 points, and he's already well on his way to meeting that mark.
And Will Thingvall playing like the rent is due. And he is shooting excellent, red hot tonight, coming out firing from all cylinders, doing exactly what he needs to do for his team. And Will Thingvall will be the key to KMC's victory tonight if it comes down to that.
And now Carroll with another basket here. Now 5-9. Thingvall again from 3. And again from Thingvall. Pittman with 12 early points, all being accredited to Will Thingvall.
4 for 4, giving it to the hot hand. Same place on each of these baskets. Will Thingvall, player to watch tonight. Keep your eyes on number 4.
And now that's Braxton Martin there. Kicking it over to Hauserman. Hauserman doesn't airball, but it barely hits the rim. And now Brooks Powers pushing the issue. Kicks it over to Will Thingvall. Will Thingvall again from 3, and this time he's going to run out of luck. And he's now 4 for 5.
And his hot streak comes to an end right there. But excellent shooting still. 12 to 5 already. And it feels like we barely started, Gabe. I mean, already 4 minutes in, and KMC in the driver's seat.
And now Reese Peterson going to drive the baseline. Nice find. That's John Hauserman. And he's going to be able to knock down a 3. And just like that, it's a 4-point game.
And these teams going back and forth from the perimeter. And it's just the question, who will stop hitting the threes first?
Wow, a charge going to be called here. Now we give Thingvall his first personal foul. And team foul number 1 for Kapaun as well. We're already more than halfway through the first quarter. The rest of letting him play so far. It's the first foul call here tonight.
And both teams have stayed relatively disciplined. Thingvall getting 2 big blocks early in the game, and we hadn't seen any fouls called until now. And I think that will be a very common theme of tonight's game. KMC just trying to stay focused on defense, stay disciplined, and keep them hands to themselves when it matters most.
So here's Reese Peterson. Additionally entering the game for the Eagles, number 2, Cash Ugels. Excuse me, Ungles. And now off from this. Rebound also put back into no good. Now Rocco Keller on the other end of things. Kicks it out to Owen Herlocker. Owen Herlocker to Brooks Powers. And Powers looking to reset the offense. And this intercepted by Hauserman. Up to Braxton Martin. Braxton Martin going to be able to convert. And now a 10-12 game. And the game that looked to be a runaway for Kapaun in the early window is a lot more competitive now.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Gabe. And the Golden Eagles finding a way to intercept those KMC passes. Great job on those past 2 as getting up there and grabbing those passes out of there and just snatching it from KMC teammates.
And so Keller out to Brooks Powers. Brooks Powers, nice pass on Herlocker from the mid-range. That's no good. And wow, Blaze Dowling takes a hard hit for the rebound. And looks like he'll be fouled. And that will give Mikey Brand his first personal foul. Foul number 1 for Carroll.
And now KMC just trying to figure out what the scheme is that they're going to run. Just trying to stay focused on the goal tonight.
Now Blaze Dowling. Against Dillon. My apologies. Now another 3 going to be missed by Will Thingvall.
And Thingvall shooting 4 for 6 after his hot start. 2 misses back to back. Let's see if he can catch fire once again.
This now John Hauserman bringing it up, slowing it down for Carroll. Gets it over to Cass.
Ungles gets it over to Landon Steven. Now Mikey Brand, and now Blaze Dalian going to be called for the blocking foul. He's looking for the charge, it's not going to come. And so that'll be on. Again, Blaze down just for a foul to number 2. And Brooks Powers will exit the game as Tegan Charles comes in. Now Reese Peterson checking in for John Hauserman on the Carroll side of the court.
And Gabe, one thing that star player Will Thingvall told me earlier in the year, he said that any of these guys can have a hot night. So just look for any of these players like himself, Will Thingvall.
And one big
Transition bucket right there. But like I was saying, Gabe, he said that any of these guys can have a big game. Corbin Johnson, Tegan Charles, Brooks Powers, any of those guys have the ability to just turn it on and play lights out.
Ball free throw good, so that gives him 15, and he's still the only person to score for KMC here tonight. Now Landon Stevens hands over to Ungles. Gets it over to Peterson. Peterson looks around. Once again finds Stevens is going to chuck him a shot that's going to be no good. Rebounded by Dalian. Over to Johnson, transition. Over Will Thingvall is the one who makes the basket, and he, again, 17 points. Only person to score for Kapaun so far, and is single-handedly beating the Carroll Golden Eagles 17-10.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Gabe. And one thing that has created those opportunities for Thingvall is that excellent passing, like you saw right there. Corbin Johnson delivering a bullet to number 4. And like those three-pointers, his teammates have just been able to find him, and they know where he's going to be, and they know that he's going to hit those three-pointers. It's just building that trust with your teammates that when you pass them those balls, they will be able to hit those buckets.
And so we get back into the action out of this timeout. The timeout, of course, being charged to Carroll, though, 4 remaining. And so here comes Reese Peterson. And, coming out of timeout, you see them very calm, trying to slow things down on offense. Carroll has a good team here. They just have to run the offense and the tempo they want to run. You can't allow Kapaun to speed them up. Now Hauserman for 3, that's no good. And another thing, I hate to say it, Hauserman's the best player on the court for Carroll. You can't let him take all your shots. He's a great player, don't get me wrong, but he definitely has some cold streaks, and that's what you're seeing here early on. Now another jump ball. This will be KMC retaining it. And it'll be Charles to inbound. Now Charles gives it to Will Thingvall over to Johnson. Johnson looks around, tries to split 2 defenders and does. Gets it to Dalian. Wow. Will be blocked from behind by number 12, Braxton Martin of Bishop Carroll.
And Gabe,
that's gotta be a hard one to swallow.
And one thing to note on that play, Corbin Johnson was double teamed there, and he found a way to get to Dalian for the shot attempt. However, it was not good, but that just shows Johnson's trust. And when he gets that pass to his teammates, they'll be able to get up a shot.
Another foul going to be called against Mikey Brand. That'll be his second personal, team foul number 3. Will Thingvall for 3 off the assist from Corbin Johnson. That's good.
5 for 7 on the night. Big 3 by number 4.
And overall shooting, 6 of 9. 66 from the field. And now at at the end of the quarter. This shot going to be no good, and now a full court shot from Johnson nearly goes in, but off the backboard, and we'll head into the second quarter with Kapaun being up by 10.
And KMC in the driver's seat after a huge performance by senior Will Thingvall, just allowing his team to breathe after a while.
And again, he's the only person to score. He's scoring 20 points in the first quarter. I mean, on route to an 80-point game if he keeps this up. It's unprecedented what he's been able to do here on offense. I mean, he is the offense, being put, to put it bluntly. And pitcher Carroll, I mean, they're doing what they can. And on defense, I mean, you can't ask for much more. You're limiting 4 players. And it just happens to be that other player on the court that's making it happen for Kapaun so far. And on offense, putting up 10 points in a quarter isn't horrible, but it's definitely not what you're wanting to do when you're going against your rival and the #1 team in the City League, and arguably the top team in the state right now. As Kapaun again comes into this matchup 5-0, winning by an average of 27.5 points.
Yeah, they've been able to hit the gas against teams, not letting them get close at all. And the only thing, Gabe, East was the only opponent that was able to fluster KMC a little bit, making it a close game towards the buzzer. But KMC finding a way to get through adversity when it comes.
And a tough fought rebound there, ends up in a foul, and that will send Braxton Martin to the line. That'll be the first personal foul charge for Owen Perlock.
And this will be the first free throw attempts for the Golden Eagles, their first chance at the line. And this just shows the defensive prowess of KMC, not giving up any personal fouls to send these guys to the line, keeping themselves disciplined.
And those free throws cut it back to a single-digit lead. As now a miscue from from Kapaun, gathered by Johnson. And now a little bit of a mess here. Gives Brooks Powers no look, but he decides not to take it. Instead, passing it inside to Rocco Keller, who knocks down the easy shot from the block. And that basket from Rocco Keller is the first basket from a Kapaun Crusader not being Will Thingvall. And so here comes Landon Stevens. Tries to find Mikey Brand, but can't. Eventually does. However, Brand now operating all the way from the crest. Now into Martin. Martin drives. Goes against Keller, and he's able to get the basket. A bit of a back and forth here to start the second quarter. We'll see what Kapaun can respond with. Will Thingvall from 3. That is good! For his 6th of the evening. Now shooting a firm 70% from the field. Incredible. Now Martin looks around, trying to work on the interior. Keller with some great defense, forces a bad shot, and that's rebounded by Will Thingvall. Now over to Brooks Powers, and that's a nice block from Braxton Martin again.
Great job of Braxton Martin getting down and blocking Brooks Powers on the big transition pass. I mean, I surely thought that one was going in. I don't know how Martin got down there so quickly.
I mean, it's impressive. It shows you again how hard these guys are pulling out on the court and how much heart goes into this game. It's hard to describe the tension that's felt between Kapaun and Carroll in any sport. I mean, you're a swimmer, I'm a tennis player. I mean, even in those matchups, they were always heated. And so, in every game Kapaun and Carroll play, it's always won for the records. And it's no different here tonight. And so,
yeah, and Gabe, earlier this year, KMC broke the 25-year streak that Bishop Carroll had over them in the in football. And that was a key victory for KMC in their season on the road to a state championship. Unfortunately, KMC fell short in the state championship game, losing to Mill Valley. But that just shows the rivalry between these two teams. 25 years was a long time. And for KMC to win that and have those bragging rights over this team just shows the dominance that KMC Sports is coming into and how these Holy War games are much more than an event.
And of course, Kapaun coming in with a 5-game winning streak against Carroll. Now, excuse me, it's Brooks Powers on the assist, and Rocco Keller on the basket.
And great job by the senior Brooks Powers, sending him a pass for number 5, Rocco Keller.
And now a hard-fought basket there from Braxton Martin, who's slow to get up. Collided there with Will Thingvall. That gives Martin 8 points on the night. He's the leading scorer for Carroll. And he'll head to the line for one more. That'll be Will Thingvall's second personal foul. Great job there by Corbin Johnson to clean up the court. Now Corey Daniels, number 11, checks in favor of Will Thingvall.
And Corey Daniels is a very quick junior. Not the tallest on the court, but he can move quickly down the court and causing those fast break plays in transition for KMC.
And after a delay, we'll see Braxton Martin shoot 1 and potentially cut the lead to 10. Shot is up and good. And so score now 27-17.
And with that free throw, Carroll shooting 100% from the strike. Very good if they're wanting to get those free baskets.
And Kapaun doing a great job of passing. I mean, they keep their eyes open at all times, making sure they're aware of every lane and who's in it. And there's great assist there. And Tegan Charles comes away with the basket. It'll be his first of the night. And great steal there by Brooks Powers. And now it'll be off the kneecap there, Mikey Brand. It looks like Powers is looking for Corbin Johnson there in transition.
And Powers right there, just getting down the court very quickly. He read that pass like a book, knowing exactly where it was, and getting his team into transition.
And now checking in for Carroll, number 15, Brody Kreitzer. That's Corbin Johnson opening up his scoring tonight with a made 3. And now here comes Carroll to respond. Now down by 15. They get it to their best player, Hausman, who dumps it off to Martin, who is currently leading the Carroll Golden Eagles in scoring, excuse me. And a foul going to be called. This looks to be on Brooks Powers, and it is. His first personal foul, team foul number 3.
And the Golden Eagles just trying to get anything here. Down by a lot against KMC, when KMC has all the momentum in this game, as Carroll seems to not be hitting any of their shots.
And after a mess after the rebound, Brooks Powers comes away with it, and this will end up in the stands, actually. It'll be off of what looks to be Brody Kreitzer. And Crusaders will retain possession. Corbin Johnson will inbound, gets it into Brooks Powers. And Kapaun really not trying to let off the gas at all, as now Tegan Charles with a good look, and he converts. Currently shooting 50% from the field, 2 for 4 so far. Corbin Johnson playing some tough defense against Reese Peterson. Peterson hasn't been able to score anything tonight. And Hauserman, who has the ball now, usually the team's leading scorer, has been limited to only 3 points so far. And here comes Kreitzer, gets it over to Hauserman. Hauserman for three, that is no good. Rebounded by Johnson. Johnson over to Daniels. Daniels looks around, shifty. He can't find a lane. Gives it over to Johnson. Johnson, a deep three-point shot. Going to be no good. And Hauserman can be ruled out of bounds. So that would give Kapaun back the ball under their own basket.
And Gabe, one thing we saw on that last Golden Eagles possession, KMC forcing Carroll to take those tough shots. Like you saw Hauserman just trying to throw up a three there as it was no good.
And that's Tegan Charles with the wing, or with it on the wing, excuse me, gets it over to Corbin Johnson. And Kapaun now slowing things down, trying to set up their offense. And I mean, just looking at Carroll right now, they look not lost, but they look a little frightened. They're a little bit on their heels on defense. They get a lucky break there. Tough break for Kapaun is another turnover. And it looks like Kapaun to come out in a press here as Blaze Dalian checks back to the game for Kapaun. Now Cash Ungles. Loose ball, kickball violation on Brooks Powers, it looks like. Now under 3 minutes left to play in the half. Kapaun leading by 17, doubling the scoring output of Carroll so far. And so Martin inside to Muth, who's able to get his first basket of the night. Here's Rocco Keller. Sophomore has had an immense impact on the team so far, and they've had a few young stars do the same. Of course, Blaze Dalian, the freshman, getting serious minutes here early in his Kapaun career. And that's Tegan Charles there on the main basket. So, Andrew, what do you know about Blaze Dalian?
And so, Gabe, Blaze Dalian coming in as a freshman, that's a very tough position to fill, but he has filled that role excellently. Number 15 on the court right now as he stands 6'3". That's very tough to play against, and he's only a freshman. So he has a lot of potential and a lot of growing to do. This kid, he's been an excellent force for KMC tonight.
It's now Corbin Johnson with it. Tosses it over to Blaze Dalian. Dalian over to Powers. Powers for three. That's no good. Rebounded by Johnson after the tip from Keller. Now Johnson, straight up pass to Keller. Keller drives, loses it. Now on the floor. Great play by Cash Ungles to get it over to Mikey Brand. Mikey Brand swings it over to Muth. Muth for three. That is good. Impressive sequence there from Carroll. And maybe the spark they need to get things going.
3 of 4.
12.
Sorry, Gabe. 3 of 4 from the field. Bishop Carroll shooting the ball excellently. As we saw earlier, KMC trying to get them flustered from the perimeter, but not there. Ian Muth hitting the big three-pointer.
Eck taking a timeout here. His first of the contest. And he can't be too upset with his guys. I mean, they're putting up an outstanding performance so far. And still no Will Thingbaugh. He still does have 2 fouls, but after scoring 23 points in the first half, you thought he might get some more minutes here, but it looks like we might not see him until the second half of action. Brooks Powers over Corbin Johnson, and Johnson a little frustrated there as Schroeder wasn't where he expected him to be.
And even for an excellent point guard like Johnson, that is a very tough pass to make as that one sails out of bounds. Maybe wishing he could have that one back as it goes into the hands of the Golden Eagles.
Now a full court pass, and Charles isn't going to get there. As that just a little too much ump on it from Powers.
And Powers, great job leading Charles. Just like you said, too much on that one, going out of bounds. As with under 50 seconds left in the game, in the second quarter, KMC in the driver's seat with all the momentum. Bishop Carroll just trying to wind down the clock and maybe put up some last quarter points.
And so here's Corbin Johnson, good defense here, but Carroll give it to Mikey Brand. Now end up out of bounds. It was made on Carroll's end of the floor. Potentially the last possession for Carroll in the half with 21 and change remaining. Now Martin with it. Finds an open driving lane, instead kicks out to Ongles. Looks around, gets to the Muth. Muth back to Martin, now stripped. That's Johnson in the open court now. And up and under, gonna be no good. Tip back in, that should be good. And basket is gonna count. And Kapaun will head into the locker room with a 14-point lead. Heads up play there by Owen Horlocker.
And KMC has to be very happy going into the locker room. With all the momentum, we'll see how things change or how Bishop Carroll reacts going into the second half. But we'll see you after the break. I'm Andrew Greer.
I'm Gabriel Breitenbach. to the second half of action in the Holy War. Of course, Kapaun versus Bishop Carroll. Kapaun enters the half up by 14 and not looking to let any pressure off of Carroll here. It's been all Will Thingvall here tonight, and I don't think anything's going to change.
Yeah, 23 points, a lot of those coming from the 3-point. And Will Thingvall is hot, red hot from the perimeter tonight. And KMC's kept him out a little bit. Coach Jack trying to keep him out of foul trouble. But Will Thingvall has done a great job of getting KMC in the driver's seat.
And after an early misuse by Kapaun, Carroll will get their first possession of the second half. That's Landon Stevens. Here's Corbin Johnson. And now Kapaun doing a great job on defense so far. Not allowing too many passing lanes and pretty much sealed off the paint. Now Carroll back outside. Great defense here, not allowing a shot. Now an open shot from Mikey Brand, going to be able to knock down about 15 feet out.
And Bishop Carroll changing a little bit of their offense. It was pretty mixed. It was a lot of three-point shooting and trying to get those interior points. But they changed it. It seems to work, getting those good passes around the perimeter, setting up opportunities.
There's another shot from Rocco Keller. Gives him 6 on the night. Quick out for Landon Stevens. That's going to be no good. Rebounded by Brooks Powers. Now Rocco Keller thinks about a three, but drives the baseline instead. Kicks it to Corbin Johnson, who's up and under. Is going to be no good. Put back going to be no good as well. However, he's going to be fouled there. So Hill is in the free throw line for 2 shots.
And not too many free throw opportunities for KMC tonight. As Bishop Carroll has kept themselves very disciplined on the defensive side.
And that will give Corbin Johnson his 4th point of the night. Johnson, usually one of the main offensive scorers for Kapaun Mount Carmel, but he's only been limited to 3 points so far, now 5 after his trip to the free throw line.
And one thing about this KMC offense, they like to switch roles with who's been scoring a lot in the game. Some nights, Will Thingvall, like tonight, will have an excellent game going off for 23 points. Sometimes it's been Corbin Johnson earlier in the season against East, scoring 21 points all by himself. And then you also have Tegan Charles and Brooks Powers who can do it as well.
And see what Carroll can do here. Looking to respond to Kapaun's offensive production. Here's Mikey Brand. Brand up and under. That's no good. Rebounded by Charles. And he'll be fouled there. A little bit of frustration showing from Braxton Martin.
Personal foul is on Martin. His second. Team second.
And Powers leading the Crusaders up the court for another possession. Trying to set something up as that one is batted out of bounds by Wasserman. And Thingvall on for the inbound. Bishop Carroll subbing in Ian Muth for Johnson from 3. No good. Off the backboard.
That's rebounded by Mikey Brand.
And Brand taking it himself. Double teamed.
Now Landon Stevens kicks over to Hauserman. Hauserman over to Martin, who looks inside, finds Mikey Brand, going against Charles. Charles, good defense, but it's going to be enough. Exactly. Didn't think that was going to work out, but good defense there from Charles. And now Will Thingvall with it, goes baseline, goes up, and that's going to be no good. Out of a foul going to be called. So he will head to the line, and keep in mind, again, Will Thingvall ending the first half with 23 points, and additionally, has been shooting 70% from the field, something almost unprecedented for that amount of scoring in the first half.
Yeah, and his teammates found him open and gave him those opportunities to score. He was just hitting them down, knocking them down time after time. And that just shows this team's ability to create opportunities and get the ball to anybody on the court. We've seen some long transition passes tonight. And that just sets up more opportunities for these players.
And so that will now give Will Thinkville 25 points.
And KMC stays 100% from the free throw line tonight, 5 for 5.
And it's now Hauserman. Hauserman inside to Martin. Martin is going to try to do something when he goes against Keller. And now swatted from behind by Johnson. And the rebound saved by Powers. Now Kevin going away with it. That's Johnson up and under. He'll be hitting ahead. And we'll see if he's okay. He is. And so he'll head to the line for 2 shots. Looks like haven't caught in the eye there. That's Moose's first foul of the second half of the game. That'll be team foul number 4 for Carroll here in the third quarter. So now Capon 7 for 7 from free throws, or on free throws, excuse me. And they extend the lead to 20.
And KMC comfortably in the driver's seat tonight, putting all the pressure on the Golden Eagles.
And so now here's Stevens. Stevens brings it back out, gives it to Hauserman to reset. And Capon playing excellent man defense here tonight, not allowing much to happen, but this is a good look that ends up in a foul. And that will send Braxton Martin to the free throw line. Great job there by Martin getting up, bringing the ball down, and able to get a shot off. He'll be rewarded by 2 shots from the charity stripe. And additionally, forgot to mention Nathan Gertz coming into the game, number 10 on your screen. Now second attempt going to be good, and so that makes Carroll to within 20, but not else looking very good for the Golden Eagles. I mean, they've been able to defend somewhat well in the first half. Now that kind of falling apart is Rocco Keller unable to get that one to go. But overall, they were able to limit everyone except Will Thinkville. Now they haven't been able to do much here in the second half so far. And offensively, they haven't been much better. However, they've been able to give some good looks to Martin, who's been able to do most of the scoring for them tonight, scoring 10 of the 27. Another look from Martin. This one going to be blocked, and he's unable to convert a second time. Now Corbin Johnson bringing it up. Gives it over to Brooks Powers. Brooks Powers is going to get a look, and it's going to be a charge. It's a heads-up play there by Muth to not only get the ball back, but that will give Powers a second personal foul. And team foul number 3 for Capon here in the third.
And Gabe, as you saw there, KMC, great defense on one side of the court, and then transitioning that into excellent offense. Unfortunately, they were not able to come away with a bucket there. But that just shows their aggressive nature on defense, being able to force.
Will Thinkville.
Force touches like that. As you saw, Will Thinkville, big steal right there.
I'm not going to lie to you, Andrew. I thought there was something bigger coming at the end of that transition layup.
Yeah, normally wide open. That's your time to shine, right? Doing a little East Bay right there, a windmill. But Will Thinkville said no to that.
Regardless, that would be his 27th point on the evening. He's well on track to a 40-point game if he can get there. I mean, scoring nearly 30 through 3 quarters, and that's with missing the majority of the second quarter of action.
And that is a testament to his performance in tonight's game. The dominance from everywhere on the court, like you saw there, and then in transition, he's able to score from the perimeter. He's able to score everywhere. He's able to score. He is the key to KMC's success tonight, and the key to KMC's success this entire season, last season. And if KMC is wanting to make a deep run within the 5A playoffs this year, they're going to need to rely heavily on their star, number 4.
And as I understand it, Andrew, I mean, this will be the last chance for Kapaun to have a 5A playoff run as they're moving divisions next year.
Yeah, and that's an interesting story, Gabe. KMC moving down will cause a little bit more of a question on what the competition will be like, as moving down from 5A. There's a lot of competition in 5A, football and basketball, but 4A, KMC will be able to spread out a little bit more. Andover Central, a big player in 4A. But other than that, KMC, not too many Wichita schools that will stand in their way.
And it's now Rocco Keller keeping Kapaun perfect from the line so far. Now we'll give him 8 on the evening as Kapaun hits the 50-point threshold. And now Kapaun coming on a little bit of pressure as now Martin able to break it. And Martin looking for Brand, now end up out of bounds, and will put the ball back in the hands of Kapaun Mount Carmel.
And Gabe, one thing that the Golden Eagles have not seen all year long is a runaway loss like this. In all of their games, they have been very close, double-digit deficits in all of their losses, as they're 1-3 coming into this game. They've been a strong team, just have not been able to finish at the end of games.
And with that gives Brooks Powers his first basket on the night. And so here's Reese Peterson for Bishop Carroll. Goes over to Hauserman, who again has been rather quiet here so far. Still only with 3 points. And now not a deep 3, but a 3 nonetheless from Muth. And that's going to be rebounded by Tegan Charles. Now a nice look inside for Powers. That's going to be no good, and now he's going to actually call for a travel. They actually call for the ref, but regardless, it'll be Carroll basketball. And so now once again, here's Reese Pearson bringing it up. And Kapaun still with their stars out on the floor. Up by 25. Now a nice basket from Hauserman. I mean, that's the first time we've heard from him since the first quarter, excuse me.
And back to what you were saying, Gabe, it's only a matter of time before KMC brings in their JV players, their bench, to start getting some experience in a varsity game.
Oh! And Corbin Johnson, Joshua Ballin, decimates the water cooler there. But it looks like he's going to be okay, as Powers was looking for an interesting skip pass. It will not work out.
And that one just soared over the head of Powers. Too much there as he knocks over the water. Luckily, Powers is not injured on that one. Excuse me, Johnson is not injured on that one.
And now here's Reese Peterson once again for Carroll. And again, just Carroll really struggling to get any offensive production outside of Brand and Martin. However, you know, they had some help off the bench from Ian Muth, who scored 5. The overall offense really the big struggle from the Golden Eagles here tonight. Here's Hauserman once again. Gets over to Peterson. Peterson looks around. Gets it inside the Brand. Brand goes to work. Puts up a shot and good. And it'll be foul called against Tegan Charles. And that will be Charles' second, team foul number 5. That puts Carroll into the bonus for a final minute and 13 in the corner.
And with both teams in the bonus, both teams have opportunities in the foul realm. Just trying to stay disciplined on both fronts, both teams. Just trying to get those points where they can. KMC well in the driver's seat with under a minute left in the third quarter. Just trying to get as many points as they can.
Now a transition basket for Reese Pearson. That's his first of the night. And now Kapaun only leading by 19. Now Will Thingvall misses that one. It's in the hands of Blaisdellian. And now Johnson over to Charles. Charles gonna make that one. Nice turnaround basket.
And
From
all
Charles.
season long, Charles has been very good around the paint. He's able to pull up with those jumpers and create opportunities and get above the defender for those key shots.
Now Pearson able to get past Johnson, and he'll be fouled from behind by Johnson. Yes. Pearson will take his first shots from the charity stripe here tonight. And first one gonna be good. As now Corey Daniels checks in for Corbin Johnson. And second one off the mark. Will Thingvall gives Tegan Charles the rebound. Now Blaisdellian puts up a shot, and that's good! And a buzzer beater to end the third quarter. We extend the Kapaun to lead to 23. An impressive play by the freshman for his first basket of the night.
And KMC 9 of 12 from the three tonight. Excellent shooting from this team, just showing that they can shoot it anywhere on the court.
And so now we head to the final quarter of action. Again, Kapaun leading by 23 points. And so not much of a competitive game so far, but an excellent showing by the Kapaun Mount Carmel Crusaders. Not much more you can ask from this group of guys.
You're exactly right, Gabe. And even in a competitive game like the Holy War, each year both teams play their hearts out. KMC able to calm those nerves and play to their ability, and they're not playing down to Bishop Carroll. They're showing this team the reason why they were runner-up in 5A and their ability going forward, that they are a dominant team and they are a force to be reckoned with within the City League.
And not only a force to be reckoned with in the City League, but they are definitely a force to be reckoned with on the Kansas State basketball stage as well. Of course, Kapaun coming just short last year, being the runners-up to the 5A state title, losing to Andover in that one. And so now Braxton Miller gets the inbounds. So Carroll again, we discussed this with the last game, of course, the result being a lot different. But for Carroll at this point, you're not going to get a really great shot at coming back in this one. But what you do have is an opportunity to run your offense and do what you wanted to do initially, is run what you had in practice against an elite team. And so you can more so focus on technique and execution rather than trying to win the game and trying to just get baskets where they can happen. Because when you come to this game, you're the underdog. You get a lot of players trying to do what they can, whatever they can, to get baskets and to try to win the ball game. And we've seen it from here tonight from Carroll. A lot of times it ends up in a lot of rash plays and a lot of messy offense and defense, and both have been the case here for Carroll here tonight. And so hopefully they can slow things down, run more methodical offense, trying to see what it looks like, see where the error is when playing teams like Kapaun. Oh, Will Thingvall not able to get that one to go back in. So here comes Kapaun Mount Carmel. Excuse me, here comes Bishop Carroll. And now Reese Pearson with it, gets it. No, was looking there. for Braxton Martin, but that's going to be out of bounds. We got another turnover for Bishop Carroll.
And that turnover right there seems to be the story of tonight's game. Bishop Carroll just being flustered on possessions, not following through on those. They played great, but just not following through towards the end.
And it's now inside. That's what thing. Ball turn around, no good, but he will get fouled. And so head to the line for 2 shots.
And Thingvoll will have an opportunity to add to his historic night. 27 points, now make it 28.
This will certainly boost his averages a bit here, as he's gotten attention from a lot of colleges so far, and still trying to make a name for himself on the national stage. Or maybe regional stage is a better way of looking at that, but regardless, he goes 1 from 1 from the line. He gets him 28 points on the night, and that's actually the first missed free throw from Kapaun so far. And now Mikey Brand going to get this one to go. Cuts the lead back to 19. And so here's Rocco Keller. Rocco Keller up and under, no good. That's rebounded by Herlocker, and he's blocked by Reese Peterson. And so here's Carroll looking to respond. Now a foul going to be called on Will Thingvoll. That'll be his 3rd on the night. 2nd team foul for Kapaun here in the 4th quarter.
And Gabe, with 2 fouls early, Will Thingvoll has kept himself very disciplined. Only his 3rd foul. First since the first quarter play. And he's just shown that he can reel it in and play to a high level on both sides of the ball.
And now the shot going to be good from Kreitzer. And so here's Corbin Johnson getting over to Rocco Keller. Now Corbin Johnson moving shot. That's going to be no good, off the head of Tegan Charles. Now nice find. That's Reese Peterson in the mid-range. That's going to be good. Not Bodalian. No, actually not Bodalian. Blaisdalian. Regardless, there'll be a timeout called. And so, stopping the action with 5:36 left to go in the game.
And KMC just talking some things over, trying to fix out a few kinks. Bishop Carroll showing some good signs of defense later in this game. And KMC just trying to stop a surge of any offense from the Golden Eagles. And if I were Coach Eck right now, Gabe, what would you be thinking? What would you be telling your players, trying to keep them motivated?
I think you tell them it's Carroll. I mean, in a lot of other games I see a point, but I don't know how much Coach Eck is going to have to motivate them in this game. I mean, we talked about it very early on in the broadcast, but this is Bishop Carroll. I mean, doesn't matter what sport they're playing, and Kapaun and Carroll will always be heated. I mean, you see it here from Will Thingvoll. I mean, he goes from averaging 15, 16 a night to having 20 points in the first quarter. There's definitely a fire in these guys' bellies already, and it doesn't need much motivating too long after that. And you see Kapaun kind of slowing things down, not playing as fast as they once were. Now Kreitzer are going to be off the mark from 3. And so now Corbin Johnson on the other end of the 4. Kicks it out to Brooks Powers. Brooks Powers looks to drive. Can't find anything. Kicks back out to Johnson. Johnson pump fakes. Now going to be called for a travel. And so now substitution for Kapaun Carmel as Corey Daniels checks into the game. And Carroll still down by 15.
And Gabe, it's only a matter of time before both teams start putting in their bench players, their backups, just trying to finish this game off strong.
And this one ends up out of bounds somehow. No foul called. There's going to be some contact, but ref's going to hold his whistle this time. And once again, Carroll looking to bite into that deficit. Not where they want to be, but still 15 and over. A score you can overcome. A deficit you should overcome, or you can overcome. I can't speak. Regardless, it's going to be a missed shot here. Now Hauserman on the putback, no good as well. Rebounded by Rocco Keller. No. Looked to be out of bounds, but it's going to be a jump ball instead.
And great job by Bishop Carroll keeping that possession alive. At one point, Peterson was triple teamed in the paint, and he just kept grabbing his boards. And now we'll see. I guess it's KMC's possession.
Now 4:25 left to go in the game. And we'll see what Kapaun can do.
And a long pass by Powers as Kochek calls a timeout. 3 remaining for the Crusaders. And KMC now, this is just the chance for them to work out any kinks in their game, trying to perfect those little things, as this is the last game of the first part of the season. 6 games already in this 2023 season.
And now probably the final timeout of the contest. I mean, unless the game gets more interesting, but you know, as you said, I mean, there is a level of, you know, I don't know if you need to be motivated, but Kapaun can definitely get relaxed just because, you know, you're up by 15 in the final quarter. You've been dominant throughout this game, but Carroll still very much wants to come away with a W here, and you know, they're going to do whatever they can to make that happen. Because I mean, just a moment ago they were down by 25 points, and being able to score 10 points, cutting it, you know, 10 points out of the deficit, it's a big change. You know, you go from, you know, putting some guys don't usually play in, trying to run some things, see how things work against a good team, to now actually having a decent chance at making a sizable comeback. And now Kapaun looks to gain control a little bit more here, and now no, that's going to be out of bounds. This is another turnover from Kapaun.
And you're exactly right, Gabe. Back to that point, KMC cannot get complacent in this game. Bishop Carroll is still a good team, even though the record does not show.
And excuse me, no, this is not a turnover here. It looks like Kapaun with the same possession must have been deflected by Carroll Poyer, but regardless, now Brooks Powers, nice find for Will Thingwall. Will Thingwall hits the deck, those baskets good. That'll give him 30 points on the evening. And now Kapaun again with the basketball. As now Thingwall shooting 11 of 14 on the night tonight. Now Corey Daniels has some room, kicks out to Charles. Charles surveys, drives, dumps it off to Keller. Keller does the same, this time in trouble, and he's going to be fouled. Be Landon Stevens' first personal foul, team foul number 2 for Carroll in the period. And so now Brooks Powers gives it to Thingwall. Goes to work inside, dumps it off to Daniels, who drives, going to be no good off the back iron. And now Mikey Brand pushing extra for Carroll, dumps it off to Stevens. Stevens going against Daniels.
And Bishop Carroll still keeping the pace very quick and fast, trying to keep KMC on their toes. They're just trying to get anything on that board.
Now Will Thingvall gets the rebound after Charles gives it to him. And no good after the mid-range shot from Thingvall. And now some substitutes for Carroll. As for the first time tonight, we'll see Keaton St. Vrain. Number 20 on your screen. Additionally, number 3, Judd Blasey. Comes in for the Golden Eagles. Blasey over to St. Vrain. Now the Brand. Caven playing solid defense. Oak for Hauserman, who is unable to knock down the 3. Now a putback can be no good from Blasey. Eventually ends up in the hands of Brooks Powers. We'll slow it down and bring it up for Capen.
And the Golden Eagles still creating opportunities for their shooters like Hauserman. Just not able to go on that one.
And this looks like Capen's really trying to chew some of that clock up, and it's all over. But the shouting here from KMC is another foul. As that will send Rocco Keller. Or no, it looks like this will actually be on the 4. Regardless, it will be the first foul on number 20, St. Vrain. The team foul number 3 in the period for Carroll. So now Thingvall gives it over to Charles, who misses a shot. Rebounded by Keller, however. Keller looks out. And he's going to go to the ground. Now stolen by St. Vrain. Pushing against you, that's Ian Muth. Muth tosses one up. That's good. Muth has 7 on the night. Cuts the lead now to 17.
And great job by Muth creating a bucket in transition, moving down the court all alone, and scoring on those KC defenders.
Rocco Keller with another basket as we enter the final minute of action. Keller will have 10 points. He ties Tegan Charles with 10 points of his own. Excuse me, who has 10 points of his own. But now Will Thingvall ends up with another steal, and again, you talk about, the impacts players have. No one had a greater impact on tonight's game than William Thingvall, and ending the first quarter with 20, ending the second with 27. And he'll end the game with 30. But, I mean, it's just incredible what he's been able to do here tonight. Shooting 11 of 15, has 6 threes to his name. And that will be it as the final seconds took away. Capen will come away with a 19-point victory over the Westtown Rivals. And wow, Rocco Keller with a dunk to finish things off, and that'll actually end the game with a 21-point victory for Cape Mount Carmel. And Capen into the style regardless. Capen comes away with the win in the first leg of the Holy War here in the basketball season. They move to 6-0 now and firmly cement themselves as not only a contender but a favorite in the 5A state conversation.
Yeah, Gabe, and Bishop Carroll falling to 1-4. That is a very tough hole to get the team out of.